Welcome to another adventure. And the little tiny Aragonese town of Muel, with its church reflected in its pool, its man-made waterfalls, with the locals enjoying the cooling droplets from the river. We're on another adventure, and now, this year, we're going to Mallorca by car. Now, to get to Mallorca, we have to get a ferry from Barcelona. Stops are in order. And one such stop is Manresa and its big old cathedral. Another quick stop trying to get a view of this monastery, Sant Benet de Bages. It's annoyingly very hidden. Cheeky Catalans. Keep your secrets. Right, doesn't look like I'm getting much of a view of this sneaky little monastery, but I'm walking along colourful wheat fields. Could be worse. This is traditional Spanish food. Right, first day done. There's a sock. I'm gonna go to sleep now because I'm absolutely shattered. Tomorrow morning we'll have a little bit of time in the cute little village of Vic, and then we'll be getting a ferry. Well, that'll be good. See you in the morning. This is the most Catalan way to start today. Pan al tomaquet. It's quite pretty, but what I have noticed is very independency. Lots of the Estelada, the Catalan flag with the independent star. Lots of banners and signs saying speak Catalan, which on one hand I'm like, you should defend your language. On the other hand I'm like, have a break guys, chill, just chill. So the original name of Vic was Also, and that under the Romans became Also Vicus, and that became Vic. Now Vicus meant village, so it was the Also village, but they stayed with the word Vic. So the word Vic is village, so welcome to village. But it still has this Roman link, and right next to me they discovered a Roman temple. Pretty sweet. I've never been in a cathedral like this. It's all black. That was an intense cathedral. Never been in one anything like that ever. Covered in paintings, gloomy, dark, but beautiful. There was like a priest just sitting there staring out of his confession box, waiting for anyone. I was like, hello. There were monks and nuns walking around. We have time to kill, so having a quick stop in La Garriga. Fairly nondescript, but there's always a church. What is interesting is there seems to be a street down here lined with insane old mansions, almost like modernist neoclassical mansions. I kind of fall in love with modernist architecture. You just find these like amazing houses in the middle of random towns, which are now privately owned, but in the day were like fancy mansionettes. They always sort of flourishes. That's lovely. Feels a bit like a plane, doesn't it?
You want for a bit?
Oh, okay. What do you think, Mum, of our transport mode?
This
is going to be a real highlight for the GastroTraveler, a Mallorca ferry sandwich. So I got a pincho moruna one, which is the most Spanish version of the sandwich I could find. Little welcome carver to our hotel. Cheers, Mum. Now, in all my years of travelling, especially these lovely trips with my parents. I've never had a room with a terrace. Now I have. I've got a little balcony. Look at my view. What a great view. Hello, car. Hello, staircase to wherever the bodies are hidden. Hello, people. Give us a smile, family. Got a good wine list, that's why I chose it. Just checking out the beach. Not a lot of Spanish around here, lots of Germans, lots of Brits. But that is Mallorca. So my mother and I have ordered fish, sea bass and salmon. Bottle of local white wine made with grapes like Prensal and Giro Blanc from the Sincronia winery, which I sell. And this is a pretty nice end to a long day of travel. Salud, everybody. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I'm going to sit here on my terrace with a book. Have everyone look at me as they walk past. And tomorrow, the real island adventure begins. Right, British fry-up style breakfast done. And now we're going to head out. And our first stop is a very pretty village, just 20 minutes from where we are. Welcome to Mallorca, one of the Illes Gimnesias, the Gymnasium Islands, or the Naked Islands, as they were called by the Greeks when they rocked up a couple of thousand years ago and discovered them. Although there was a culture here pre-Greeks, the Paleolithic peoples, don't know much about them. We're in the little town of Pollença, which is quite cute. If you can get past all the tourist shops, you find some really interesting little corners. But yeah, they were called the Naked Islands. Not that way. They were called the Naked Islands because nobody wore clothes here. Hence, gymnasium. It's also famous for the stairs to Calvary, which are up here, over 300 steps up to a chapel, which I'm going to try and do now. Whew, that was a lot. I presume it's something to do with atoning for your sins or someone's sins, but nice views at the top. Don't know if a thick black t-shirt was the smartest move for today. Time to head all the way back down. This is the Sierra Tramontana that we're crossing, the northern spine of the island. UNESCO biosphere, very impressive. Mostly full of French old men with Porsches. Welcome to pretty Sóller. The key here, very cute town. I briefly stopped here before, but they have a historic 100-year-old tram which takes you through the countryside, through the mountains, to the port of Sóller. That's our plan. A wee bit busy. Sobrasada semi-cured chorizo with honey, and that's local honey, butter and banana. I find it all quite chaotic, that. All very chaotic.
Yeah, so there's no queuing system.
No, and I go back to my original thing. If you have a ticket, buy it. If you've got a ticket, you can come on. If you haven't got a ticket, you can't come on, and they know exactly how many they've sold and how many spaces there are. What is cool about Alcudia is a little walled town. So I'm walking along the wall because there's less tourists here. And then we have a nice dinner planned afterwards. After the chaos of today, this is quite nice, clean and chill. Now, obviously they share some geographical and historical DNA, but if you didn't know where you were, you'd think you were in Provence with some of these little kind of honey-coloured stone houses with their multicoloured shutters. It's nice. Who knew that after the stress of today, next door, little Alcudia. Scallops, meatballs, and that's the frito maike. It's kind of a mishmash of potatoes, peppers, eggplant, aubergine, peas, and everything. Wow.
We then have a...
Right, I'm burning off that local Mallorcan red wine with a little uninspiring stroll back to Port d'Alcudia from Alcudia. That was the end of today, a long day of heat, staircases and little isolated mountain villages. Tomorrow, we attack the capital. Welcome to Palma de Mallorca. 500,000 people live here, then you have the tourists. The 7th largest city in Spain, a beautiful city, a busy city. And I'm about to go into that thing. A bloody big cathedral. Now Mallorca has some Moorish roots. There's an Almudaina palace in front. This is the huge Roman Catholic cathedral. This is insane. Similar to Sagrada Familia, it's so lofty and so impressive, and the use of light. This is amazing. So that canopy was designed by Gaudi. The rose window there is the 2nd largest Gothic rose window in the world, extant in the world. And the nave at 44 meters is the 8th highest nave of any church in the world. I can believe it. I've been to Palma before, so if you want to see that video, feel free to click up here. And I really went around, ate and drank everything. But just thought I'd show you a few nice streets before we head up the coast. I remember the Santa Clara monastery was one of my favourite little nooks. Now what they have got are some cloistered nuns who make biscuits. I'm going to go in and buy some. So here they sell biscuits. Hola, ¿me das uno de crespel y uno de flor de azahar, porfa? Aquí está. There we are. So little orange blossom ones and something called crespels, little icing dusted biscuits. Quick stop at the Arab baths. Yonget, which is their version of like a little toasted bun with mayonnaise, mahon cheese, and the sobrasada semi-cured chorizo again.
In the papers now.
Up the Portalsville, a very isolated little cove. Isolated, but with a lot of people. Now, if you're ordering wine in Mallorca, there's 4 things you can do. You can have vino de la tierra de Mallorca, wine of the land of Mallorca. You can have vino de la tierra Islas Baleares, wine from the Balearic Islands. You can have pla y levant, which means flatten in the east, which is flatter and in the east. And you can have Bini Salem, which is the more interesting denominación de origen, because they use lots of local varieties. And fun fact, I'm in Bini Salem right now. We should probably talk grapes. Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Syrah, you get all these. They're mostly in Playa de Mar. But in Bini Salem, you get more grapes like Cayet and Gorgoyas and Fogoneo. Problem is, no one's heard of Bini Salem. So even the little place I just popped into, which sells wine by the tap and local bottles, they often just don't want to, and they just sell it as Mallorca wine, which is understandable but a shame. But Bini Salem, cute town, worthy stop, come drink. Come out to the coast for dinner at Can Josep. It is a hell of a location. This is the modern era, kids on their phones. My body needs vegetables. Alright, so I've got cod with sobrasada and honey, and there's potatoes. That looks amazing. Hake on the grill with lemon and veg. Mum, happy?
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet, yes. Ooh, that is good. That is very good indeed. So it's the last full day and my birthday. I'm starting off a bit annoyed because we were supposed to have a stop in the town of Manacor. Nowhere to park because it's Mallorca and it's full of people. And then the idea was, well, Rafael Nadal was born in Manacor, so it's this huge centre to him, the museum and everything. Statue, it's just tennis courts, a museum for 25 euros or something. So we're not going that either. It's all been a bit of an annoying start to my last day, if I'm being honest. I'm getting quite irritated because there's no car parking anywhere and it's tiny and there's way too many people. But now we're going to hopefully go to some caves, which I have tickets for. So I may have wasted the morning of my birthday, but let's see if we can make something happen for the afternoon. See what I mean by busy. We've come up to the Drac Caves, the Dragon Caves, which should be very impressive. I have my tickets. Right, so here we've got the hair. 50% Manto Negro, local grape, 50% Cab Sauv. What do you think, Mum?
Very nice.
So that was a lovely experience. We tried lots of wines. What I love about Mallorca wines is the wines fit the climate you're in. The reds are fresh, not alcoholic, really kind of expressive. The whites are crisp and clean. Sitting outside with some nibbles in 28 degrees or more, it's amazing. We're staying up here. Palma is down here. The mountains are up here. And today we were around here. Right, it's time for my birthday meal. So we're going back down to the coast, and unbeknownst to my parents, two of my friends from Madrid are coming to surprise us.
you have room for 2 more people?
Oh my god!
How are you? I'm good to see you.
Did you do this deliberately?
Yes, of course.
Every move for people to read while
Wait. Just while everybody's staying.
Just anyone on the beach want to have a look as well? Yeah, you have a look. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Shall I blow out the candle?
Yes, you may.
That's what you do.
O le cantamos, ¿te cantamos?
No. Aquí está.
Welcome back to the mainland. Now that is the end of Mallorca, but we've still got a couple of days on the peninsula left. So we've got a few more stops. That's Mum said out behind me. And yeah, first stop is Lleida.
Butifarra sausage. Yes.
Welcome to pit stop number 1 on our way back to Madrid. Lleida, provincial capital, 150,000 people. We're in the middle of the central Catalan depression, which always makes me laugh as a name, and it's shot up to 36 and a half degrees. It's hot. At the top of a hill, they have a whopping great cathedral started in the 1200s, and it's surrounded by like a classic kind of fortress. So we're gonna have a stop here, put some cream on, check out some old stuff. So yeah, lovely old cathedral on the hill, as is tradition. 1749, it was fortified into kind of barracks. Hence the big fortified little castle bit there. It's an impressive bulk on the hill, I have to say. Let's see what it's like inside. They just opened, so we're going to make the most of that. Of course I found a bell tower. So I have to go up the bell tower. 238 steps. 36-degree heat. I'm an idiot. Halfway. Right, we're checked into Huesca. We're not going to go and do... We're not going to do a lot of tourism tonight because we're all zonked and it's 36 degrees. But for tonight, we're going to have a bit of a chill, maybe a bit of vino in the area. And then more tomorrow. Today was a long day, even though we didn't do that much. This is the cheese on top. Oh wow! Look at that. Wow.
It's longanita, which is like a chorizo without the paprika, basically.
Right, even though I'm seeing Huesca tomorrow, for the sake of burning off a little bit the cheesy potatoes, going for a little stroll around the outskirts. In Vinea, it's on my list, had to go. We've got a grape called Paraleta, which is a Somontano local Aragon grape, which I've rarely tried, so cheeky glass of wine on the way home. Oh, smoky. That is a juice bomb. When in Rome. Good morning from Huesca and the cathedral. Going to try and do a quick stop in a shop in a square. Because apparently it's the oldest shop, it's a food shop in the city. Amazing shop from the 19th century. I go down to see the bodega. I bought some cookies. What am I looking at? I used to have that as a child. I had that toy. What? Jeez Louise. I feel like I'm in a fever dream from an 80s horror movie. Not doing anything? Good, that's terrifying. And look at this. What is this? What is happening? Look at this. Puppet show, horror show. Most adorable old lady upstairs. I better go see my parents. The second village, Campo d'Arbe. It's quite cute. Isolated little villages.
I wonder if they have a rap song with them.
Welcome to a quick stop in Ainsa, a pueblo bonito of Spain, which is in the middle of nowhere in northern Aragon. Quite a scenic place for a local beer at least. The last stop for the day is Jaca, up near the Pyrenees. We're going to have a look at the buildings here, and there's an old fort, the Ciutadella, and finally we're going to end our day in Calatayud, absolutely pooped. The Cathedral of Jaca is quite grand because this town is actually a stop on one of the Camino de Santiago routes. So even though it's a dinky little town, very alpine ski resort vibe, ancient 11th century Romanesque church. Now, those of you who know me and know what I do for these videos know that a video to Mallorca was never going to be just me in Mallorca. I have to go to as many places as possible. I've got to tick those places off my map. And we're here in Daroca, the last village in Aragon on our trip. Quite remote little village, but fairly pretty, but surrounded by sandstone. Walls covered in bits of castle. Now a little look here. And there's one final stop and we go back to Madrid. I always think at these points when I'm finishing my little holidays, what have I learned? I have learned that Mallorca is beautiful, but unless you've got time on your hands, it can be quite stressful. I've also learned there's a never-ending bloody supply of little nooks and crannies in this country. Hunters shooting rifles, art, caves. What more do you want? I'm going to set off to our last little stop en route back to Madrid. I swear the focus of this video is Mallorca, I swear. But there's just so much in this damn country. Monasterio de Piedra, 12th century Cistercian monastery, now converted into a hotel, the wine museum of Calatayud, gardens. Calatayud is extreme altitude vineyards. Sometimes over 1,000 meters, as you can see. Viñedo Extremo. And mostly planting the red grape Garnacha. Done a really nice job with this. Probably the prettiest wine museum I've seen. Down where the Rio Piedra is, the stone river, there's a very verdant glade. I've lived here for 15, 16 years and it's still by me one of the coolest places I've seen in Spain. You can kind of follow the sound of rushing water. I'm going to head back in, see one more and head home. So I think if you like this video or you like anything I'm doing, press subscribe and press likes and I can make more. But I think, given that I started with waterfalls, it makes sense that I finish with one. See you next time.